alkaline water and it makes your cells alkalytic.
The closer you are to nature, the healthier you'll be.
All right. Happy Saturday, everyone. You are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We are live streaming on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and on Instagram. So, hello to you. Go ahead and drop some comments in the chat, in the comments, so that way we know that you are here and you are ready to get this knowledge with us, okay? We are going to be talking about a few things. Acidic food and metal, cookware, best versus worst, and also cookware and chronic diseases. Okay, so let's go ahead and be chatty patties in the chat. We always like that. So please make sure to, again, let us know that you are here. Let's see here. Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here on stage so we can get started. Grand rising to
Well,
you.
Grand Rising to you too, also, Carolyn. Look, everybody, we want everybody to get off of their behinds. We really have to make a change in the way that we've been looking at food. Now, I understand that this is cool and cozy because you don't have to do anything, but I really want to challenge everybody out there. I'm really talking to black people to really make a difference. We talk about being kings and queens, but we're eating like, beggars. We're eating like people that are not fortunate enough to even have food. So why are we making these decisions? We want to change that. If you have any comments that you want to add to what I said, or if you go against what I said, whatever, just do something. Because it's like, I know that over the years that we've been sharing, I've been teaching, and Carolyn has been right here also to push, to propagate those things that are very important about us being healthy. I don't care how brilliant you are, if you're not healthy, you can't see your dream through. Or people are brilliant, but they die prematurely. They're brilliant, but they keep eating like they're slaves. We need to change that. Now, for all you brilliant people out there, leave a comment. I will definitely read it and make sure that I respond to it, because we really need to make a shift. I can feel that it's close, but it's not exactly there yet. Okay, today we're going to talk about some of the things that are happening other than what we're talking about today, which is cookware danger. And we really want to share that with you, because these are things happening right up under our nose. These are things that are happening, and we're not doing anything about it. We're kind of like, well, let's just see what it's going to do to us first. We need to set up organizations that are specifically focused on bettering or being in innovation. That's what we need. We need more innovation. We need more of these wonderful, brilliant black folks to really step out and step up to make a difference in the world. Imagine, before you exit this planet, you would have taught, you've plant seeds in many people in your audience. You've reduced the causes of death and sickness, illness, infection. Imagine that. Well, that's what our goal is here on Mind of Nature. So please stand by. Make sure that you share now, and really take it seriously. A lot of times we're asking you to say something because silence is just not the that's not going to help us at all. If you do nothing, you say nothing, and all you do is listen, write down notes for you. We're talking about getting people to understand, to know, and to actualize some of the things that we're saying as we are here every Saturday at 8 a.m. PST to make a big difference. Okay. Now I know that was a mouthful, but that's just how I'm feeling today. I want to definitely continue to feel that way and share with you. We're going to be talking about something that gets all of us, and that is, or something that we is pretty existential. And what's happening is that we're having a lot of recalls. So I want you to look at this. Care, hit it.
Trader Joe's is recalling nearly 10 million pounds of frozen food due to the potential that they may be contaminated with a foreign object, more specifically glass. The affected products are the chicken fried rice, the vegetable fried rice, the Japanese-style fried rice, and the chicken shumai. The Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service said in a March 3rd announcement that carrots were the likely source of the glass contamination.
Now you see what they did. They took this, this recall and made it seem like the cause were carrots. You see what they did there? You
Yes,
have to
I
be
did.
very, very pay attention to what is happening. It makes you think about, okay, Trader Joe's for one thing, that's odd because it's like usually Trader Joe's, you think about that, it's like, oh, that's the real health food or that's the discounted health food because it's usually their prices are lower than other health food stores. And so if that is happening, if we're listening to this, and we're going to play another for you later so that you can pay attention to what's happening. Remember, you cannot be a royal leader or a person that can sit up and tell other people how to be great, how to be wealthy, how to all of this stuff, but they're not saying things like what you eat is what's going to help sustain you.
Mm.
That's the main thing. When you get older, that like you got people that's just waiting around to die. It's like, hey, I'm done. After people, finish working 20, 30, 40 years, a lot of them want to rest. They're not thinking about, oh, I'm going vacation, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Some of them eventually get into it after they make a decision to do something more than just stay at home looking at TV. So we want you to turn up. We really want you to understand that your decisions is what really shapes the outcome of your life. Okay? So let's go ahead. I want to also, I just got to shout out these brothers. There's some brothers right now. Well, there's one that's trending on. This is a brother that is on, I believe he was on YouTube or no, Instagram. It's on Instagram. And what he's doing is he's showing that he has either the recipe or that he's discovered. I don't know exactly how he's connected to this because there's another brother from Nigeria that's also connected to making what is called plastiline. Now, if you haven't heard of plastiline yet, this is in both cases, two black men are connected to the discovery. I don't know who was first or any of that. I'm sure they're going to work that out. But the idea that's so fantastic is that we have one brother, which is Mr. Kingsley, is Nwakuma. Kingsley Nwakuma, he's from Nigeria, and he developed a system to, or at least from the information that I pulled up on him, he actually developed a system to convert plastic waste into fuel. That's to replace or to use like diesel fuel, gasoline, and kerosene. And he discovered a way, or at least it said that he has discovered a way to take plastic and to take that plastic and make a fuel out of that. And there's also there's another brother. His name is Julian Brown. He's here in the United States, and I think he lives in Huntsville, Alabama, and he's also claiming the plastiline to take place of the or to use just like you do gasoline. So in other words, it's about using our brilliance to make our lives better, not just to make money. It's plenty of money, and I know that you probably saying, "Yeah, but I want some of it." I understand that, but we are brilliant beyond belief. We're so brilliant, and we're not using our brilliance to help ourselves and to help one another. So keep that in mind. We'll come back to those things later on, but congratulations. I want to say congratulations to both of those gentlemen. And another thing that I do want to remind everybody, if does everybody remember when the brother made or the one that discovered how to make the water out of air? You remember that, Carolyn?
Wasn't there a movie on that?
Well, there was the brother in Flint. I don't know if there was a movie on it yet.
Okay.
I haven't seen that,
Okay.
but there might be a film on it. But I remember seeing some footage of this brother in motion, and his name is Moses West, I believe. Yeah, it's Moses West, and he's an African American inventor and entrepreneur, and he's known for developing the atmospheric water generation. So this is the atmospheric water generation. That's also called AWG technology. And his machines, they actually pull clean water directly from the air by condensing moisture, which is humidity. There's another discovery is called the zenith. Is called the zenith method, and that you hardly hear anything about it, but it's been around for years. And but this is something. Look into the Moses West Foundation and find out more about his systems that have been used in disaster relief like hurricanes and water crisis. Is just a wonderful discovery. So we have enough brilliance to thwart anything that should challenge us as we live and as others are coming after us.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Karen.
I was just agreeing with you. I was
Oh,
just saying absolutely.
okay. Thank you. All right. So let's go ahead and let's talk about this. Like we're talking about today the cookware danger, Carolyn. We talked
Hmm.
about that. And the metal, that people were talking about, I have this question several times, and people are asking a question about the metal that can be absorbed or soaked or a way that the metal becomes a part of the food, and the food or the sauces or the different types of I would say even if it's soup or if it's going to be some kind of sauce that you put on top of something else, whatever it is, that it can definitely become a part of the food. And those small amounts of metal that can actually be transferred, and that the transferring of metal is called leaching, and it can leach into the food during cooking because heat actually is shown to speed up reactions when we cook. We actually heat up the food, of course, and then it increases the molecular movement. Now this can cause tiny amounts of metal atoms and or ions from the cookware to loosen and then to migrate into the food. So just imagine, see a skillet or see some kind of cooking ware, and that what happens is that because of the heat or the use of the heat, it causes that skillet or whatever has been used to leach. And you'll see the photo there. Now, some people are using stainless steel, and when you use stainless steel, that it's not known to separate molecularly as the other, for instance, metals like tin and aluminum. And so we'll talk more about that as we go along. But heat speeds up the reactions, and this is why we're talking about cookware. Now, many common cooking tools are made with materials that they can pose as health risk, and especially when they're heated or scratched or used over time. And some people have spoons, that same spoon been around for 20 years. And if it is made out of some materials that we're going to get into, then this is where we want you to go out today, throw that other thing away, and start using the materials that are safer. Okay, so some of the things that, as far as the cookware and the tools to be aware of. First, we start off with the nonstick cookware. Now, the nonstick cookware, most people don't, when you go out there and you buy stuff and you don't understand that there is a type of material that's used. Start off with the PTFE, which is also called Teflon. Now, PTFE, it actually coats the whatever the pot, pan, and even the spatula. And I was talking to my sister earlier this morning, and we were talking about this. Some of the things like synthetic is a word that is fluoropolymer, and this fluoropolymer is what is a polytetrafluoroethylene. So your PTFE, that's what that is, the polytetrafluoroethylene. And again, it's a synthetic and mean that it's made in the lab, and it has many applications due to its chemical inertness and low friction. So the risk can be released toxin, the fumes, if it's overheated. So even when a person is in your own kitchen and you have the flame up too hot and it's smoking and it's oil splashing and all of that, like the crazy, the mad chef kitchen, we want to definitely just give you some ideas to help change that, because the risk of these toxic fumes, we're talking about above approximately 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, and that is very hot, especially like at the top of the stove. Now in the oven, a lot of times we go to 475. Some people go up to 500 and cooking something fast. Some people want it to be a little crispier. We have to ask Chef Dom about that. Like, what does he think about that? But it's really a advantage to us to start eating with the foods that are safer. Okay, so Now, I want to just share with you also that was the non-stick or the Teflon. So we know now to stay away from Teflon. Because again, some of the concerns are historically linked to the PFOA, and that is now mostly phased out, but is concerns that remains about the replacements. So that's another, the PFOA is another chemical that we need to avoid, and is definitely phasing out. It's not hardly ever used anymore, but we want to know for sure. So you can watch for things like scratched or peeling surfaces that are a higher risk in ingestion. So meaning that when you have the food in your plate or food from the skillet and you're taking a spoon, especially if you take a spoon flatware and you have that coating. Sometimes there's a coating in these different cans, and for it might be a can that you are storing food in, and the can is keeping the food. Has a lid on it, and you screw it in, and these cans were made specifically to store food and keep them warm or cool until it's time for the person to eat it. Now, make sure that the spoon or whatever you're using, like for instance, a soft wooden spoon. You see these wooden spoons today probably more than usual because they're getting more popular, because when you take like metal against another metal, it is most likely going to scratch or chip away. And again, there's a higher risk of ingestion. Next, there is aluminum. Now, when it comes to aluminum, this is very popular, and a lot of people actually use aluminum when they cook, when they use different pot and pans, and sometimes they cook in the aluminum themselves. Now, here are some pots and pans that look pretty good, but they look that way. But you want to make sure that you are reading stainless steel. Aluminum, there are aluminum cookware that actually looks like it is another durable stainless steel product, but there are cases that is not stainless steel. It may appear that way, but just don't take it for granted. You also, when it comes to the aluminum cookware, and they have coated and uncoated, but let's just look at uncoated aluminum cookware. The risk are leaches. It leaches into food. That's what. So if you're cooking, for instance, those little pie pans, there's some pie pans that actually we have. And we, with those pie pans, there's some crust. So what people do is they buy about 2 or 3 in a pack, and then it's already made good to go. But what they're not thinking about, that's going to go in an oven that's about 175 degrees. And once the filling of the sweet potatoes or pumpkin or whatever type of pie you have in the crust, the filling in the crust, this can be disadvantageous, unhealthy, unsafe. So make sure that you can get other stainless steel pans like that, and you can also use the glass pans, which are that can be safer also. Some of the concerns about the aluminum is that excess aluminum exposure has been studied for potential neurological effects. So over time, when you do this 20, 30 years, and then you having the person ends up with Parkinson's disease, or they end up with diseases that they're like, where did this come from? I've been eating this. And something stops you about right there, and it says, yeah, you've been eating this stuff for over 40 years. So let's change some habits. It's not too late, and it's never convenient, never ever convenient to be sick, to be infected, and to have to face those challenges at any age. Plastic utensils are especially the cheap and the old ones. Let's get something up on the screen here. Here we go. You see these a lot. And these are some of the plastic materials they have. I haven't seen them yet, but some people are just using, or some manufacturers, they're making these particular tools that are very, very unsafe. And unfortunately, they make these real cute for children, like babies, when they're sitting in their chair, and they also entertain themselves with half of it is eating food and others half is on the floor. But as you see, this particular photo shows you again the pictures of the dinosaurs and the fork and spoon, and they look good, but what are they made of? Automatically, we probably think about, well, they did it for babies, so it must be okay. So, but that isn't the case at all, because many times children are definitely a part of the bottom line that many of these factories or these companies have today. So we want to make sure that we don't use our child as a pawn and get in that game. You have to read, know for sure exactly what's happening with the stuff that you're putting in front of your child and on that child's plate. Okay, earlier we talked about I think it was, okay, good. Okay, I was I'm actually gonna share with you some of the things like we just talked about. And again, the children, when they are, this is what I really is sickening, because some people just don't even have the consciousness or the care about how it's going to hurt children. So we continue with the common cooking tools that are made from materials, again, that can pose health risk. And again, we're talking about things that are, especially when they're heated, when they're scratched, and when they're used over time. I'm just going to say time, because some people take care of their stuff and it still looks good, but you need to change that stuff. Things do change, and if you're eating something that is scratched and heated and is old, let's just go ahead and just break down some of the cooking tools. And earlier I mentioned the non-stick cookware. Stick to that, because again, we're talking about the PTFE, the polytetrafluoroethylene. And this particular chemical is still being used. It's very popular, and we need to change that, because a lot of people use or the companies use it because of its inertness and its low friction. Now, I also talked about aluminum cookware, and there are also plastic utensils, and that's where we left off at. Plastic, the risk about plastic utensils is that it can melt or it can leach chemicals when exposed to heat. Now, the chemicals concern, there's a chemicals of concern would be the BPA and phthalates. Okay, and that's the kind of thing that you want to keep in mind, because they can be, in the long run, just like you have it in different shampoos and conditioners and other cosmetics. This is very important for you to pay attention to. You can also watch for warping and discoloration and softening. And that is the effect that the heat has on some of those tools. Now, there's another chemical that's used, and it's called melamine. Melamine is what some of the dishware and the other utensils are made of. Now, melamine, I'm going to put this on it for you here. You can look at this spoon that the baby is holding. That's made out of melamine. But look at this, those people that ever did any plumbing work, or, if it's a leak or something, this right here is thread tape. And this thread tape is made with the same materials as some of the spoons and plates and bowls and forks and all that. Melamine is also used to make different types of tubing. And this tubing, as you see, you've probably seen this somewhere. You can't remember it, but it's definitely tools that they use, or materials that are used to make many things that we just simply aren't aware of. The risk, again, can release the harmful compounds when it's heated or is used with hot foods. If you want to avoid some of this reaction, you avoid microwaving melamine altogether. Now, melamine also is a low quality stainless steel. And I don't know the grade. I don't know what the grade is. It's an unknown grade. But the risk may actually leach nickel and chromium. So things that we can't see, things that are happening when you start to warm up that pot or that skillet, and you've had it around the house a long time, all you do is just wash it. Some people are still curing the skillet, meaning that they have a skillet and they always keep grease in it. Now, that grease, although it keeps the skillet cured, it also attracts bacteria, and that bacteria builds up. You can't see it, but some people swear by it. A better choice would be the high quality stainless steel, and that can just replace that altogether, because especially for people with metal sensitivities, and there are people that have metal sensitivities, just like we were talking about the nickel and the chromium. Who would even thought? It's like, what? Where does that come from? So a ceramic ceramic coated cookware, the 3 C's, is another low quality and unknown brands. These are some of the things that come from overseas, or they're made very cheaply in some countries, and we spend, like, they probably cost 2 or 3 cents, and they're sold at some of these stores. You will see that at the different dollar stores that are around the city, and your city, and my city. And these are things that are just made available because people don't think about safety before they think about, does this thing have is this on sale? And the money seems to come first. Other things that we also can keep in mind is the copperware. Copperware is usually unlined, and the risk is that the copper toxicity from leaching into food. And that's what copper is so pretty. It looks so good when we see the copper. But when we have to check it out and see how it reacts with fire, then there's a different story. is safe only if there's properly lined. So if you see copper cookware, you want to make sure that it is speaking about the if it's properly lined. Usually is lined with stainless steel. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and just take a break. Everybody take a deep breath in, take some water, just sip on your tea or whatever you have, and we're going to go back to Carolyn in the studio and see what she has for us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. I appreciate that. And thank you to everyone that has joined us here on the Mind of Nature. We are live streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. I just want to go ahead and shout out some people that are here with us this morning, and we always appreciate it. Hello to you, Shirley Gentle. Hello, girl. How are you? Thank you so much for for joining us here. Elissa, hello. How are you? Good morning to you from DC. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Dr. James Thompson, hello to you. Says, good morning, Power Couple. Power Couple. Thank you so much. And this was another comment from him in regards to the video that we showed earlier with the contamination, the recall from Trader Joe's. Um, right, most produced toxins comes come from proximal animal fecal contamination. Whew, sorry, I had to make sure I got that right. But that's great. Thank you so much for that feedback. I appreciate that. And then you have Darcel. Good morning to you and happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you as well. Denise Kane. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello to you. Good to see you. Thank you so much. And then Glenn Johnson makes a great statement here. Says, "Wow, my wife and I were just talking about this. Great teaching. Good morning." Also, thank you so much. And Eclipse Soleil. Good morning to you as well. Over on Instagram. I just had to shout the people out.
Beautiful. And we thank you for being here. And we started off talking about everybody getting off their rusty dusties and doing better for yourself, doing better for your family, making better choices. We're bringing you the information, but you got to put it in action. There's some really incredible opportunities to learn. And thank you, Dr. James, as always, for being there. This brother is extraordinary. When you see and experience Dr. James' sincerity with the propagation of science and medicine and how he always stands by research and evidence. It's just a wonderful opportunity for us all to learn and to grow. We have other things. Did you, Kara? Did you say something?
No,
Oh,
I'm agreeing. I probably need to agree a little bit quieter because the
oh,
kids
okay.
are off.
All right, dear. That's cool. Now, I want to continue with this because I think it's really good, and thank you very much. Shirley is definitely a wonderful nurse that is always here just in case we have any emergencies. No, just playing, but you know. But Shirley is just one of the most authentic people that you will ever want to know. Very, very incredible. Just I can go all day on talking about that sister. Just really great sister, beautiful family, great husband, uh, and I love it. I say all that because when people that say that they're too busy to stop to learn about themselves, too busy to learn about what's safe and not, too busy to learn how to do certain things like cook or bake or how to slice in certain ways or how to choose the right foods, how to store all of those kinds of things. That's what we talk about here on the Mind of Nature. And we're going to keep going. We're working on being able to reach out and to influence your brain and your heart so that we can take those things that we've been hearing for many, many years and either agree with them and show proof of that or disagree with that and show proof of that. And that's what's been happening. We've been living by a lot of folklore, and the folklore sometimes is fun. It has its place. Long time ago, we used to take this and we took the whole wheat bread and we would make it from scratch. And you hear these stories, and that's kind of cool. As I said, it's mostly entertainment. But when it comes down to your body, that same genius in you needs to be supplied with the right food, the right environment, enough rest, and human touch. All of this is really important. And don't forget to exercise. So when I say exercise, I think that it turns people out. It's kind of like diet. And some people say, I don't say diet, I say live it. Well, live it sounds corny to me personally, but diet, when that's one of those words that people may have some kind of remark about it. So let's go ahead and get back to it here. I want to I don't want that yet. I just want to do a couple. Yeah, let's go back to this. Keep in mind, I want you to keep in mind, whatever you do, look at your pots and pans. They're not going to always look new, but they should be clean. They should be the kind of material that doesn't rust. Like we have some cast iron stuff that will rust on you in a minute, and we'll get to that. But we just want you to stay away from the unsafe materials. And remember, you're looking for scratches, you're looking for aging. Those things have been around for quite a while, okay? All right. Now, the plastic utensils, especially those that can melt and leach. Again, we're back to that leaching, because people. I remember I think last week a person asking me about whether or not it was safe, and what we found is that foods do leach. Look at this pot versus this container right here. Although in this photo, I don't know what kind of material this soup or stew is in, but the idea is that you find out before you cook in it, and you see over here, this is Teflon, and when we see that the PTFE, that coated, these coated pans, you got to ask yourself not what's in your wallet, but what's in your pan, and find out so that you'll be able to do something about it. Now, we were talking about melamine dishware and utensils. It can release some very harmful compounds, again, especially when it's heated or used with hot foods. You want to avoid microwaving melamine. Make sure that you don't put it in the microwave. Low quality stainless steel is next. There's different levels of stainless steel, and the cheaper you are, when you get the stuff that looks like aluminum, you want to avoid that. You want to get the real rich looking pots and pans, and usually when they look great like that, they deserve for you to stop for a few seconds and read it. If you're not sure about it, if they have information with an 800 number on it, get on that bad boy and find out what's going on. Because remember, again, you don't want to be something going in your body that's potentially cancerous. Now, there's another, we talked about it briefly, your copperware and unlined. Remember, lined and unlined. That's very important. If it's properly lined, usually is properly lined with stainless steel, and you want to look for that type. Then there's the ceramic coated cookware. Now, this is usually as low quality, or is done by the non-known or unknown brands, And the risk here is that some may contain lead or cadmium. Now, the lead or cadmium are usually used in coating the plates or the cookware or the different tools like for scooping or frying and so forth. So be aware of that, especially those people, if you're a walker, a person that likes to cook in a wok, sometimes this wok has these coatings on it. So you have to make sure, because usually like an authentic wok that's made for those people that may be Asian, they have the wok that's not falling apart in the hand. They spend money on it. They have a high quality stainless steel, and but you want to definitely do that because you hear all the clicking and clocking with the different materials that may fall loose or come loose or be absorbed if you mix that with heat. Okay, another issue that I really have with the ceramic coated cookware is that is misleading when you see like natural or green labels, because they usually use the ceramic as something that looks that they selling that on the looks, on the appearance. And then that the old, antiquated cookware. That's another thing. Keep in mind, the thing about a lot of that old stuff is that it's lead contaminated. Yes, I said it, lead. Lead contamination, especially in glazes or solder. So the way that they put those things together sometimes may include the different types of, you have your lead, your cadmium, sometimes cobalt, zinc, copper. All of those things can make a big difference in what you're using. All right, we're looking good. I wanted to go over the cats. Let's just talk a little bit about the cast iron with poor maintenance. Kara, do you ever, when you cook, have you been a big cooker? Do you, what you have to say about sharing the right or using the right kind of materials?
Funny enough, when you talked about the tools, like the spoons that people use in the pots, like the plastic ones, it reminds me of something that uh, that I've used before, and I remember seeing my mom use before, as well, like the plastic tools, because a lot of times it's marketed to people saying that it's going to protect your pots and pans, from the
Yeah.
scraping. But it's like you kind of don't think about it. It's protecting the pots and pan, but what is it doing to your actual body? So that is something that it reminded me of that when you showed that picture. But I have gotten a lot better with noticing or seeing that I need to go ahead and use the right tools. Like even the tools that you're cooking in is also a part of changing that lifestyle that you have as far as being more healthy. So yeah, the stainless steel is what I'm looking for whenever I'm looking for any kind of pots or pans or anything like that.
Well, one of the things, I talked about one like cast iron
Mhm.
is actually, when it's poorly maintained. Remember, I was talking about curing
Yes.
and all that, and some people do that, but it accumulates rust, or it might have excess iron leaching because of of its materials. Usually safe when it's properly seasoned, but people need to make sure that they are doing what is necessary in order to maintain that cast iron. Okay,
Mhm.
and
Right.
cast iron isn't the same thing as stainless steel, so some people get that mixed up. But the risk is that the fillers are used in cheap silicone, and that may cause the leaching of again chemicals, and we don't want those because it's not so much the chemicals, because everything is made of chemicals, right? But when I say chemicals, I'm talking about those things that are made in labs, those things that are maybe there's a mixture of this chemical and that chemical that equals a certain material. So it's really that's important. One of the main things to make sure that you want to do, the red flags to watch out for would be peeling and chipping and or scratch surfaces.
Yes.
Also, the unknown brands, those unknown brands with no safety certifications. Like the ones that just say, "Here, I'm a pot."
Right.
You know, you want to make sure that you are getting the right type of material that you're going to be cooking in. And sometimes new, it's so hard to beat new, isn't it? It's like when something is new, it looks good. You're like, oh, this can hold up.
It's
But
shiny, right?
yeah, we really get caught up on shiny.
Hmm.
It's always like just like bling. It's just like we were talking about that, how they have the special lights to shine onto the jewelry to make the jewelry look like it's bling. You
Yes.
know, and that is the things well, that's why we're talking about this subject today.
I do
Uh,
have a question. There is a question here in the comments from Dr. James. Let me see here.
okay.
And it says here, what cooking-ware do you personally use, Doc, regarding pans and utensils?
Oh, okay. I use all stainless steel. It's all stainless steel. I have a stainless steel wok. I use stainless steel skillets. I don't do a lot of skillet stuff, like the frying things. But when I do, like, like the whip up something in the wok, is all stainless steel. And I use a wooden fork. I use the wood fork. And sometimes to remove it, if I'm scooping up the food in the wok, I'll use a stainless steel serving spoon. And I even use a stainless steel when I'm, using to toss salad. So it's that's what I use. I don't use. Oh, well, I was going to say there's some other materials, but they're using a crock pot. But the crock pot is usually ceramic is used in a crock pot. And a crock pot doesn't have a lot of, it has heat and it's ongoing, it's long, but what it doesn't have is frying and chopping up and all that. At least not for me. I just cook it. Like if I have beans on and there's, I'm doing some work and I'm in the office for a few hours, and then when I get out, I can check it, and it works good like that. So yeah, I just do anything to avoid the peeling and the chipping and the scratch surfaces. I have used cast iron down in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Yo, Joyce, cousin Joyce, shout out. And I have done that, because those are some of the things. My mother, she's also from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I used to hang out with my great great grandmother. That lady was incredible. You know what I mean? If you have that kind of wisdom around you. But yeah, those are the kind, because I want to avoid any of that does unbrand or no known unknown brands. It's dangerous to me because I want to know if something goes wrong, who I'm gonna call.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know. And then some of the very strong chemical smells that you can get through, just like some people like that stuff, like a new car, but the what they're smelling can be dangerous to your lungs. And there's some people they buy the new car smell and spray it in their older cars. And this stuff, when we are breathing certain the air in, or something in the air, as some type of pathogens, or but even just the smell, remember, even if it's just air, if there isn't a filter or there isn't plants available there, we, the human, becomes the filter. So when we're doing that year after year, and years go by fast, let me tell you, they go by fast. So it's wise to do all that you can do to enjoy your life and not get caught up in the chasing the clock thing. But the strong chemical smell, avoid that. And one of the things you're going to get from especially cheap stuff, if you're cooking in it and it's discolored, the discoloration, spotty stuff, it's dark on this side and it's light on this side, or that kind of thing. So that's really really important also. Okay, so good. Thank you for that question, Dr. James. And here are also, I think we looked at that before. I am loving this. This is really good. So now I'm going to give you some safety alternatives, or at least safer alternatives. Stainless steel, as I've been talking about, you want the high quality, and the high quality, they usually do it by numbers. So I think one of the higher numbers would be 18 per 10, and that just these ways that they measure the stainless steel. Then the cast iron, making sure that is well seasoned. And then after that, you have what is called borosilicate. Now, borosilicate is actually the kind of glass that is used for cooking. And that would be for your little glass kettles, your glass skillets and pans. And these are the kind of borosilicate is the kind of material that one would use in high temperatures in the stove, or the on the stove and in the actually oven. And then we were talking about the ceramic. You want to make sure that you have 100% ceramic. And that means that you also want to have lead-free certificate. Make sure that it is a lead-free certificate, is lead-free certified. And this means that they're paying attention to how they're making that particular tool for you. And they want you to know that. We also talked about wooden utensils, untreated or food safe finish. Untreated or food safe finished. And this is very important because sometimes it's all about the aesthetics, how something looks, and that's what they're banking on, that you like, ooh, this looks good. Now, again, just to go over a little bit about how the food actually pulls from the cookware. The food doesn't literally pull, it absorbs, or it reacts with minerals and exposed vitamins or nutrients if you're heating that particular material up. So it absorbs, or it reacts with the materials from the container, especially under heat. Just keep that in mind. Whatever tool that you're using under heat, it can change because of what happens on a molecular level. And when you cook, heat causes the pores in the food to open. Okay? Think about that. Especially people that are meat eaters. That just thinking about that gives me the chills. Liquids and fats in the food actually become more active. The cookware surface also becomes more reactive, and this creates a two-way exchange between food and the surface. The chemical reactions, the main mechanism when it comes to the chemical reactions that happens between food and the heat, well, acid plus metal equals leaching. Now I know those people that are on the, there's different diets, but especially the alkaline diet. And this is a diet that was said to be founded by the past Dr. Sebi, rest in peace, that that there are certain ways, certain approaches, and everybody has these certain ways and certain approaches. But this is something that I think that people that follow Dr. Sebi can appreciate, because when we talk about the the pH of food and its importance, this is where the alkaline and acid, where you get a better understanding about that, okay? And yourselves. It also how these foods affect yourselves. So the acidic foods like the tomatoes and citrus and even vinegar can react with metals like aluminum or copper. Now you can this process pour tiny amounts of those metals into the food. For example, like the tomato sauce in aluminum, more aluminum in the food, and that is because of the way that it is. Like when you're talking about when you buy in tomato sauce, it might say predominantly that you're eating tomato sauce, but they don't say anything about how did they make it and what kind of tools did they use in order to make it. Okay, got a lot of work to do. So just be patient, and we're learning little by little. Okay, we're almost there now. I want to share with you that fat as a solvent. Now, fat as a solvent, that means that the fats and the oils, they act like chemical carriers. They also can dissolve, and they can pull substances from coatings like non-stick surfaces. And you have to be really aware of that, because we're talking about fats and oils. What do we do in skillets? We fry, right? Some people deep fry, all of that. But remember that the fats and the oils can dissolve and pull substances from the coatings. And the coating that I'm talking about is what we talked to the PTFEs. These are some of the things that you have to be really aware of if you want to avoid the consequences of using those types of materials. Now, the breakdown of the coatings, like when cookware is scratched or overheated, old or worn, it can be releasing of those microparticles. And I emphasize that because there's a lot of things we can't see with the naked eye. And then there's also chemical residues. No matter how well you wash that particular tool, you will still see it. And you ever seen that? The dirt that doesn't leave? Yeah, keep that in mind. Food also, especially hot food and oily food, can absorb these micro particles. It's just a beautiful thing to know those things. So everybody, I'm sure, if you're you either already have great food or great tools to use to cook your food in. But if this is stepping on your toes, good, go out and if you can, get it today. And if not, put those bad boys on layaway. Or if not even then, you find out when is it going to be a sale on this type of the material. So they do have, just like clothing, they have different name brands, and there's many of them. I've bought some for myself because they're really nicely built, and that's what you want to look for. Look for something that has been endorsed by like a famous cook or a designer, and I think that you'll find that you really made a good decision. Now, I'll end with saying that some of the safer cooking practices are very necessary. Use stainless steel, cast iron, or high quality ceramic. Avoid cooking acidic foods in aluminum, because let me just I don't want to leave you with just like, well, what does that mean? Here, see, food, if you look at the pH here, this is a alkaline food chart. You will find that, a lot of the food is actually some is acidic. You see the lower numbers. Pardon me. Oh, okay, we're having a little, let's let me check this out here. Okay, there, I think. Now, how are we doing now? All right, beautiful. Thank you. All right, so we have the alkaline food chart, and this is like the higher numbers, the higher it gets to 14 on the alkaline side, the more alkalinity, and then the lower the score is, you get more, a better idea of the acidic side. Extreme alkalinity would be like, what would it be? Alkalinity would be like that stuff Comet, or scrubbing the Ajax or something like that. And then the acidic would be, the acid would be like a car battery. Those are two extremes. You see in the center, 7.0 is mostly tap water. Tap water is usually neutral, but there's many times that the water can also be healthy with a higher pH. And you see these foods over here to the left, these are more alkalinic, and people on an alkaline diet eat more of these foods than they do the ones that are acidic, because acidic usually includes like organ meats, fish, chicken, those kinds of things, of which none of which I eat. But there are things that are also a little acidic, like your nuts. There are certain berries that are acidic. Even honey itself is about a 5.0. And the good thing about anything that isn't neutralized, or 7.0, the body is busy making sure that it breaks down the or it helps to balance out what's acidic and what's neutral, so that the body, acidic and what's alkalinic, so that the body can use it and break it down and extrapolate the nutrients, and then distribute those nutrients via our blood system, and that's how we keep from being malnourished. Now, if you do, the same thing happens if all of this we're talking about junk foods. There's no escaping. You can get by, but you can't get away. There's no way you can look like that you're healthy. You can look like you're doing something, that you're fit. But if you're not following these instructions, you're going to find yourself saying, "Oh, wow, I remember he said that. I remember I heard that." You see? All right. Okay, so I'm going to get going. Care, we got to get out of here. That's is always fast when we're having fun.
Yes, it is. And it's some great information that you shared. I know that this is something that a lot of people deal with because, or really, yeah, I'll say a lot of people, because we want to say all, but we cook in the home, right? We're always cooking and wanting to make sure that we're not harming ourselves. And this is something that some people don't even realize, that they may be harming themselves with the cookware that they're using.
Yes.
So I think it's always a great when we have this information for you to say, "Hey, heads up. Guess what? Maybe you want to change this up. Maybe you want to do this, or be aware that this is what's going on when you're cooking your food." So
Exactly.
yes, absolutely.
Exactly. It's very good. We've talked about water, juices. We talked about pots and pans. We've talked about good food, bad food, canned food, uncanned. We've the whole gamut, and we continue to bring this to you every week. And if you have any ideas or any questions, put those in your comments. And before we leave today, if you like to share that, do that so that we can, address the matter and talk about what you want to get a better idea of. Sometimes I don't say answer because sometimes it's just a response because we may not have the answers to everything. Who
Right.
does? It's just like somebody knows a little bit about something and a lot about nothing.
Hmm.
So it's nobody knows everything about anything. So we have to work together, and we are better together. We're stronger together than we are divided. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you, Kara. That was really, really fun. I know I got into the lecturing mode, but we know that it got to be said. We got to teach it. And before we go, let me ask you this, Kara. What is, as far as out of the things that I mentioned to you, what is your favorite to cook out of? What material is your favorite to cook out of?
It would definitely be stainless steel. That's to me the most common in what I've used before. I know that, or I've noticed that silicone has become kind of popular too. Kind of like because you have the what is that called? The air fryers, and a lot of people like to line things like even like with parchment paper, they'll do that, or even like they've mentioned silicone. So that's something too that I have not used, but I remember seeing that they have it like with baby like bibs. They'll have like silicone bibs for babies
Yeah.
and things like that whenever they're like eating. But to answer your question, of course, yes, stainless steel. That's definitely something that I'm used to cooking with.
With the air fryers, I'm glad that you brought that up because if we look at silicone safety, is one of the things that generally considered safe when you're using high quality silicone is the food grade silicone.
Yes.
It can also handle the safe silicone can handle high heat. And I don't know, what do you know the degrees that it's probably somewhere around 400 to 500 degrees Fahrenheit that even in one of those cookers, there's the air fryers
Oh,
that's used is probably about that hot. And the thing about it is that silicone is known not to leach chemicals easily like plastics. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's really good. The low or that those cheap ones that people buy, again, they get caught up on the looks, and then they have problems like leaching chemicals when it's heated and breaking down over time. So that is that's I'm glad that you mentioned that. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right. So thank you, everybody. This has been really, really wonderful. And we're going to keep talking about the good stuff. Remember, Dr. James will be here on what date do we have? I think it's the
11.
11th. Yes. So the 11th,
Next week.
which is next week.
Mhm.
So Dr. James is going to be in the house, and we're going to surprise you with what we're going to talk about. And we're going to have a real great time. That's on me because I should have had the notes down. But make sure you're here at 8 a.m. next Saturday. We're going to have a heck of a great time. A lot of knowledge. She's going to share a lot of knowledge with you. Come back and listen to this over too, so that you will get it in your mind. Things that you repeat, you are more likely to remember. So remember that. And thank you very much. We really appreciate you being here. And we look forward to seeing you next week. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist.